Good evening, Podium Chasers. I hope you are all well. Welcome. Just going to do a quick sound check. Good evening, Podium Chasers. I hope that's all fantastic. Right, we can get rid of that. So, welcome everybody. Friday night means only one thing, and that is the Pure SimGear GT3 Friday Championship. So you're with us again this evening. This is round 6, I believe, the penultimate round of the series. And we are at the very, very picturesque Snetterton. As you can see, they've done a lot of work there on the garages. It looks pretty high tech. Maybe a lick of green paint's gone on that wood. Wow, poor corrugated iron. But anyway, you join us in free practice as always. And I think they've done the same as last week. It says half an hour's left of free practice. It shouldn't be. I think it will run till 8 o'clock. And then we will have our qualifying session. So any of you that are new to the series, welcome. Please make some comments in the chat. That's what we're all here for. And what we're going to do this evening is we will have a 20-minute qualifying session, which will be 2 10-minute splits. We do have the Pro class, which in terms of the numbers you can see on the left-hand side of your screen with the white backing, they're the Pro drivers, and the chaps with the red backing, they are the AM class. So we have the AM class run first, they get 10 minutes to qualify, and then the Pros come out and they set their qualifying laps to set the grid. So yeah, that's where we're at. So who shall we have a little look with? I've got some really exciting news this evening, actually. Let's have a look at Dave's car. There we go. Dave in his beautiful orange car. Dipolito, he got my vote actually on as he comes out of the pits. We'll have a watch of Dipolito. He got my vote on Wednesday in the FRL cast for Alien of the Week. I know he was extremely happy about that. And yeah, so let's see what he can do tonight. I don't know if he holds out too much hope. I don't think he likes this track too much. And I did actually do a few laps around here earlier on today in the Porsche. I think she quite liked it, but then I was probably going very, very slowly compared to these guys. Cascanova is in the live chat. Good evening, Cass. I hope you're well, mate. Yeah, he's saying hello, Coop. Go, Michael. Go, Dave. We'll talk about all that very shortly. There is some really exciting news which actually comes from within the FRL community. That obviously Michael Races is a very big name on console. Generally considered the quickest guy and the one that everybody wants to beat. And he's been tinkering away, building himself some kind of spaceship type PC. And tonight is his first ever PC race. And as you can see, he currently sits in 3rd place in free practice, only 3 and a bit tenths off Ellie. Or Eli. We will talk about this as we go through the stream. I did send Ellie/Eli a message earlier on just to get the name nailed, because I looked at it as a feminine, like Ellie. And I know last time we were doing the commentary, I was referring to Ellie and a she tense. And then Dal mentioned on the podcast that it could be Eli, which of course it could be. So I've asked the question. So I'm just going to say the name this evening until I get classification on that. But yeah, there we go. So we'll watch Dipolito in the 68 Porsche. He's putting in some practice laps at the moment. Time-wise, 1:46.2 for Eli, Ellie, whichever one it is. Nachira's back, which is great to see, in the Audi, always up there. Currently second, three and a half, just under 3.5 tenths off that pace. And then Michael Races in the 28 Beamer. He currently sits in 3rd at the moment. So that isn't all the exciting news that I've got actually. We know that let's have a look at the grid. So in terms of guys that are original FRL on the console that have come over, so James Williams is in the pits, obviously, in the 41 McLaren at the bottom there. So James runs FRL, we know that. And then we've got who else is in there? Where is he? Where is he gone? Was he popped out of the server? Maybe yeah. So Ian Thompson is Chica. Remember, he's got that beautiful silk cut McLaren. So he's also was a original console player. Tug Burke as well. Keddy, we all know Keddy. Keddy runs the series. Was the fastest guy on console. Might have a challenge now though. Dave Newham is Michael Race's best mate, Traction Dave. He's been in this series for a few weeks now, just come over to PC. And this is the best one, Dave Goodway. 15th at the moment on your screens, in the 35 Ferrari on the timing screens. Dave Goodway, none other than Crazy's multiple championship winner on console. Everyone's sort of part of the Admin team, and I think everyone is seeing how fantastic it is over here on the PC, and people are starting to move across. So exciting times, and I'm very intrigued to see how these chaps do over here, because I do keep saying every week, I'm confident that the top guys in our Tacos Tier 1 split would be competitive on PC. Well, maybe they're going to show it today at the beautiful Snetterton. So, as a track, Snetterton is obviously very, very challenging. We've got, as you can see on the map there, I'm not sure who thought of the layout of Snetterton in terms of how it would look on paper. I'm sure Chris Gedman, when he gets in, will look at that and have a little bit of a chuckle there. I won't say any more on that, you can make your own minds up, but you can see there's some really long straights there. You've got some hairpins, you've got some really quick sweeping corners, you've got some heavy braking zones. It's a really, really challenging track, which is why in the social medias I've been pumping out today, and I'm saying this could be a pretty epic event. We've got this race and one more to go. We need to have a look at those championships and see how that could affect things. So, who should we have a look at? Who's out and about at the moment? So Chris Vining is in the pits, Kadoom's in the pits, Kenny's in the pits, the Cheer's in the pits, Michael's out on track. Let's have a look at let's give Michael some airtime for Red Kings Motorsport there. That's his team. Let's see how he gets on. Hopefully he'll just ignore the fact that we're watching him right now and just crack on with those laps. Lamaro's in. This is a bit better than being stuck on board. It is, buddy. And Ozturtson as well. Evening, mate. Hope you're well. Yeah, we're all going to have fun tonight. If you do have time to sit around and watch a little bit or keep flicking back, do it. The racing on here is always epic. And I think with the new influx of the FRL boys, I'm intrigued to see how they get on. Because we know the pace on the others is absolutely rapid. At Lamaro, there'll be lots more different camera angles, mate. I just like a TV view whilst we're doing free practice, just for your knowledge there. So 5 in watching at the moment. Good evening to you all. We're in free practice. There isn't 22 minutes left. It'll probably be more like 7 or 8 minutes, I believe, and then we'll get stuck into qualifying. So obviously we'll do a full lap guide as we do every live stream. I'll do that once we get into qualifying. We'll pick up one of the quicker guys and we'll go from there. But whilst we're watching Michael go a smidge wide there. Yeah, just testing those brakes out by the look of it. So let's pick someone else to have a quick look at. Let's have a look at Ellie. And let's change that camera angle. Let's go Ellie just for now. And let's go TV2. It's not quite as loud while I go through the stats for you amazing people. Dow's in. Hello Dow. I'm very well, mate. Always. And I assume you've got your little your scythe out for this evening for stewarding, yeah? Is that correct? Okay, so Drivers' Championship. On the pro side, Chris Vining in the Blue Zebras leading that championship. Remember last week he was extremely unlucky at Suzuka. Was leading that race, had a really healthy lead, and then last lap just took a little bit too much on 130R and spat him out into the wall, and his race was absolutely done. And then he took the lead there. So he's still leading the championship. On 152 points. Uchetti is in second place. He was actually Dow's Alien of the Week in the podcast on 130 points in the Bentley. Dipolito is third. He was my Alien of the Week, 128 points. See, you can't separate them. There's only 2 points between them. Velazzi is really, really quick. Didn't race last week, so he's fourth, 123 points. Then we've got Amir, who's fifth, on 102 in the Ferrari. Machira is in 6th place in the Audi on 100 points, and then we've got Garby in 7th on 89 in his Beamer. Chris Carr is 8th in the McLaren on 87 points. Remember, Chris was in the AM class and has moved up to Pro, so he's quick, that's all you can say. Alfie Barron is 9th in his McLaren on 82 points. He's only done 2 races this year, won them both. Obviously had fastest laps as well with 82 points. Perez is 10th and the Bentley on 78 points. Then we've got Lee Muller, who is 11th, and the Beamer on 64. Sergio Oz is 12th in the Ferrari with 63 points. Marcus Keddy, obviously he's missed a few races. I know he was pretty poorly with some kind of virus that's been going around for a couple of years. But I believe he is back, which is fantastic to see tonight. He's 13th at 57 points, locked on the same points as Dan Whitehouse in the Aston Martin. Dave Newham is 15th in the McLaren on 56 points. Didn't get any points, or didn't race last week. No, he did race last week, but he died on the first lap, I believe. Tadima is 16th with 54 points. Kudasov 17th. Ellie is 18th on 40 points. Obviously with that one race victory so far. Cameron Martin 19th in Beamer on 26 points. Ryan O'Sullivan 20th on 23 points. Danix is 21st with 21 points, and Tuckberg is 22nd on 10 points. Now again, I know we said this in the podcast, and I know Dal told me a way around it, but I can't remember. As we've got some cars doing a bit of dancing there. That's lovely. Well done, everyone. So that's Ellie and someone else is going off. So people are starting to push it a little bit. Probably pushing, just trying to find that limit before we get into qualifying. So Zach Daly is winning the AM class on 183 points. That's all I've got to say about that, because that's all I can see. And Darren's going to tell me now I should go on to SimGrid, but I don't have enough time for that. The noose and gabble already, says Dal. Hangman Dal. You're just going to see a million. I think it's Ellie, because of the team name. I said the team name last week. Old Slow. I won't mention the word, you can see it in the bottom right hand corner. Old Slow Kitty 2. I mean, I think that's quite feminine, really. If I was a bloke with that team name, I'd probably be getting a lot of stick for it. George is in. Hi Coop, good luck to all the drivers, of course. Not sure Kyle's in the league, and no way. He hasn't left the league, has he? That'd be terrible if he has. He's doing so well, Del. Let's have a look. Is he in tonight? No, he's not. Shame. Shame indeed. And it's a great car number as well on Ellie's car as well there, 69, fantastic. Right, let's get out. Let's have a look at Lee Muller. So we've got another Beamer. I have had some feedback from the drivers so far this evening. A lot of them are saying the Beamer seems pretty nailed on around here. And as I said, in terms of a track, you've got lots of different things going on. You need high speed. You need good braking, you need to have good traction through and out of the corners. You don't want a car that's probably too slippery, too tail happy. And I think if you have a look at the cars up the top, Beamer will take Nachira out of that in the Audi. I mean, Nachira's got that Audi absolutely nailed, so I'd never question that. Michael's in a Beamer, Zucchetti's in a Bentley, Garby's in a Beamer. And then we've got two Porsches hanging on the back there for dear life, no doubt. Nachira's just gone yellow. Just as I mentioned the stability of that Audi and flat out sim racing. And I do need to apologise actually to Chris Vining. Let's have a look at him in the blue Zebra there. I love that blue Zebra. I've got to apologise to Chris, because last week when I was doing the commentary, you can see the name of his team in another massive accident. And I did jokingly, it was probably only 2 or 3 laps from the end, say, oh dear, let's hope that doesn't happen. And it did happen. So, I'm sorry, buddy. I'm not going to mention that team name tonight apart from that once. Okay? We'll go from there. So, by my clock, we should be jumping into qualifying shortly, unless they are going to run an extended free practice time. All to be found out. Right, let's have a look at the cheer app. Don't like that view. I like that view. That's pretty good when we're getting into our battles. That's pretty handy. And this one. Again, I'm just going to draw your attention to the bottom of the screen. You can see the splitter there, so you see the shadowing, obviously from where the sun changes angle as we go in just at time. That's not too bad. But in the night race that we did, or when it was starting to get, what's the wall? Yeah, it was pretty epic. You could see the rays of light dancing off the little sort of carbon fibre bits on the split app. Just absolutely fantastic, which it is. We know that on PC. So what we're doing then, so if it is going to change, it will do it very shortly. Everyone looks to have come back into the pits, really. De Paluto is still, no, he's now in the pits as well. So I think everyone is expecting, as Cameron Martin He's still going around, so he's for BMW Sim Racing. Wow, he must be a paid driver. There we go. 1 second, everybody. Let me go over there. Alright, the quali starts in 10 minutes. Let's do that. Right, let's get out there. Let's have a look and see who's out the bag first, ladies and gents. So remember, this is the AM class. So number 26. Delatour, very, very quick. I think Delatour is second actually in the championship. Really quick. He's been really, really consistent over the last few weeks, which has obviously seen him rise up that hand table. And he's in the Aston. So remember, we've got a 10-minute session for these guys. So when that marker goes towards 10 minutes, the pro guys can obviously come out and line up. They can line up at the end of the pit lane. Obviously, you can't cross that line, otherwise that would be a penalty. Down will be all over them straight away. So we've got quite a few that are out at the moment. So we'll play around with that. So let's go on. Shall we go on board? Yeah. Let's get in the dirty Aston and have a little listen to her. Now, for those of you that are watching, I have over the last few weeks been tweaking around with the audio. Yeah, and I should have asked at the start really, but how is the audio, guys? Great answer, thank you very much. If you do want to answer, let me know please in the live chat. I don't have the live feed on the FRL Twitch because obviously that's through theirs. I've got the live feed on YouTube, on my YouTube channel. So let me know about the audio. I did find over the last couple of weeks that my voice has still been drowned out a little bit by the cars, so I have made a few amendments to that. So here we go, Delatour on for a quick one. Let's see what we can do. So down the centre straight into Riches, which is a really no, stop it, Coops. This is not that guy territory. We're just going to enjoy. The accident. As we wait for the AM guys to get the first hot laps completed. Again, it's really important. I say this every single week. Points. It doesn't matter. Obviously, it does matter where you finish in the grand scheme of things, but making sure that you finish is the most important thing. It has to be the most important thing because you're going to pick up points. And if people, end up with a terminal illness in their car, something mechanical or, body work or whatever it is, and they decide they're going to quit, or, touch wood, they get disconnected, you're going to be picking up some decent points. So it's always worth putting that time in. I mean, we've worked hard enough for it during the week, so... Right, so it looks like Kamara has currently first sector, so he's running purple at the moment. We're on board with Delatour. Just get this lap finished. Going through bomb hole there. I won't. Normally I'm quite jokey on the console in certain corners, but I'll try to refrain from doing that this evening. And then into Coram. To the centre straight, so let's see what Delatour could do on his first quick lap. What's he going to do? A 1:48.480. Okay, so that's a banker. That's a marker for him. I do believe the pro guys that we were just watching are in the 46s, and Jeff Colombaro there goes straight ahead with a 47.922, only 8,000 ahead of Kamara. So say Kamara was going pretty quickly, but Colombaro's certainly holding that at the moment. Guaglio's in fourth, another 2,500 off the pace of Delatour, and then we've got Vendishoff in fifth, Blanchett sixth, and James Williams pops a time in. He goes seventh. Where are you, Mr. Williams? That's what I want. Leon Williams, let's get him. Yeah, there we go. Williams on board with James, FRL Racing Team in the 41 McLaren. I think James was putting some really interesting stuff out today. It's almost our 1 year birthday, FRL, which is you know, if you consider what we're doing at the moment and how big we're growing and the amount of events and the following on SimGrid and, you know, all these things that are going on, that's pretty impressive. It's not even been a full year. It just shows how crazy we all are and how much we don't probably enjoy our families that much because we're too busy doing this. But fantastic. Just under 5 minutes left of the qualifying session. Colin Barrow's still holding that lead. Kamara is second. Ogimex has put his Audi into third place, just under half a second behind them. We've got Delatour, Guaglio, Vendishoff, Pryor, so he popped a time in, and Blanchett. We were talking about both of those two the other day. Both of them, Pryor and Blanchett, are actually in the rookies league as well, which is brilliant because I think it runs along the same calendar as this. So again, it's all about getting people comfortable and used to racing with other people and what they're like, and just getting those skill levels just up a notch each time, which is awesome. So Blanchett is 8th, Williams is 9th, Petrovic has put a time in. He's 10th at the moment in the Merc, but wow, nearly 4 seconds off the pace. So that was definitely a slower warm-up banker, shall we say. So James crosses the line. Does he improve? He does improve. Well done, Mr. Williams. So he improves and goes up to 7th place. Currently Delatour he's taking pole at the moment, provisional pole with a 47.825, so he did improve there, and that means that Colin Barrow is now just under a 10th behind, so we'll jump on board with him. Let's get a different camera angle, shall we? Let's have a look at his Aston. So again, look at the types of cars which are finding their way to the top of these timesheets. Aston. Again, we've got a random Audi in there. Aston. It does appear to be the more stable platform vehicles that are doing quite well at this track at the moment. So just as watching Colin Barrow to see if he can take that provisional pole back. Yeah, I could invite Poe to an interview, we could find out, but I don't know how to do that yet. Not on Discord anyway. So we'll leave that one be for now, rather than mess it up. So Delatour, as you can see, we've got just under 3 minutes left of this qualifying session. Petrovic, I'm going to finish this lap out with Colin Barrow, and then we're going to go and have a look at Petrovic and Thompson. I remember last week I bored you all with a story from my childhood, living in Coventry and going to the vendor shops on the yellow. So is James Williams there, so hopefully those two haven't collided. So coming onto the centre straight, are we going to have an improvement? Well, Delatour's improved his lap anyway by another couple of attempts, so this is going to need to be pretty swift from Colin Barrow as he crosses the line. No, nothing doing there. And Camara, there we go. Wow, Camara's absolutely blown him out of the water there with a 1:47.310. That puts him 3.5 tenths ahead of Delatour. That is an impressive lap. So Ogimex is still 4th. Pryor's moved himself up to 5th. Guaglio's 6th. Vendishoff is 7th. Heel has actually popped a time in now, which is fantastic, in a 34 McLaren. He's 8th. Williams is 9th. Blanchett 10th. Petrovic is... Williams is again yellow. So actually we're going to catch Petrovic as he crosses the line. Yellow flags waving. He must improve on that. Well, it looked like he maybe did improve a little bit. No, his last time was a 150. Needs to get it moving. And what's our Silk Cut chap doing as he comes through Brundles? Let's see what Chica Motorsport. Of course, what a name, and he's been that one off as well. So Chica's not having a great time at the moment, is he? Again, I spoke about him the other day, but we've got just over a minute left. He should definitely get round to have one more go as he goes through Coram onto the centre straight there. So come on, Thompson, get across that line. Any change at the top? No. So we've got Kamara, Delatour, Colin Barrow, Ogimex has pitted, Pryor's pitted, so they're quite happy with their qualifying session. Then we've got Vendishoff, Keel, Williams, Blanchett, Petrovic, and currently on board looking at Ian Thompson in that beautiful, absolutely gorgeous liveried McLaren there. He needs to get a decent lap time in, and I'm sure the pros are all beginning to get ready. I'm sure they are getting ready at the end of that pit lane, because in 25 seconds they'll get a green light and they can get out on track. Still Kamara, Delatour, Colin Barrow, so no change at the moment in Delatour pit. So it looks like Kamara is going to have pole position. Now Zakdal, as you can see, is not in the grid today, and it, you know, no disrespect to anyone else, he normally runs away with it. So this is going to give others a chance to collect some really, really good points and get on the podium this evening. Come on, Chica. Right, so we're under 10 minutes, so that means the pros are now going to come out. We're going to stick on board with Ian Thompson, and we're going to see what he can do with this final flyer. Petrovic has gone yellow, so he's had off somewhere, or probably just pulled off to go into the pits. Right, so under Brundles. Up towards. Oh, come on, Thompson. Through Coram, beautiful down change. Sounds so beautiful on that McLaren. Again, if you guys wonder which GT3 car you should be looking as he sprints down the centre straight, have a look on my channel, Coop's Cars. I'm doing a mini series on there about each individual car within ACC, and he does improve. Absolutely well done, Mr. Thompson. Puts himself into 10th. So Camara, Delatour, Colombaro, Odumets, Pryor, Guaglio, Keel, Vendishoff, Williams, Thompson, Blanchett, and Petrovic. They are your main guys. So Zakdal. Interesting. So maybe Zakdal has moved up into the pro class, and that just hasn't been changed over because he's out doing qualifying with the pros. Although he's 2/10 off that time. I'm not sure what's going on there. I think we need to go a bit more into it. Ready? And he pulls over there. Interesting. Okay, so let's pick up. Who should we have a look at? Dave Newell. Let's see what Dave's up to. TDA, remember it's not Tada like I thought it was when he was introducing himself to the PC world. It's actually the Traction Dave Academy, which is where he teaches you how to look like Jesus, apparently. If you don't believe me, have a look on his stream. Make sure you like and subscribe, because he's a very entertaining guy, is our Dave. Michael's out in front of him. Of course he is. Closing him down, though. And then we've got Keddy. Okay, so these guys are just completing. Well, they're not completing the warm, that's how they are actually on their first flyers. So let's see what's Michael got to do. Let's go on board with Michael. Let's have a look at him in his actual first flying lap of the qualifying session on PC. Down to second, turn her in. We'll do a lap guide shortly, so don't worry about that. We've got 6.5 minutes left. Coram into first. You want to try and avoid that sausage curve a little bit there, Michael. Onto the centre straight. So let's see what kind of time. What's the first time we're going to get out the bag with one of the pros? Surprisingly there, so a 46.850 as we go into Riches, which is a really open right-handers. Third gear, you just got to throw the car in, run out wide, take that curve, and then up to Wilson, which is a right-hand hairpin. So we're going to brake at the 200-metre board just after, trail in, then we're going to squeeze on the throttle, use all the curve on the outside, and then we've got a sweeping left-hander off Palmer. So we just got to balance slightly. There you go, just going to lift, usually. That's it, not too much, we don't want to invalidate. And then we've got the run down towards Agostini, which is a really tight left-hander. So on the brakes, down into second probably. And we've gone first, I believe, there. Yeah, Michael's gone into first gear. Not a bad option. I mean, the track, I don't know if it's a green track or what at the moment. It's not telling me that. Through Hamilton. And then into Oggies. So we're going in first gear, second in the Beamer. Then we start to squeeze on the throttle there. It's almost like a double right-hander here. We go left, then we just hold station slightly. We need to get the power on early here because we've got a straight. So Michael's up changed early to third, obviously to make sure he's well, he's not going to get too much traction on that back end, which is good. to Brundle under the bridge. We'll do 2 down changes. Really got to balance the car through this section because there's a nasty sausage curve on the inside right there. Touch that. I mean, given the directional changes you're asking of the car there and the weight transfer, if you take that sausage curve a little bit too much, you're going to be in a world of pain basically. And yeah, that's it. So we're coming through COMMS, which is, again, it's just it's a constant, it's a really never-ending right-hander to be fair, and you've got to use those cones is a very good, those poles as a good braking reference, but if they go, probably will, you've really got to have a braking point nailed there. So Michael on his second lap improves. He's currently in first place with a 46.6. Dave Young is in second place, well he was until Chris Vine. Obviously Chris wanted to join the party, so Chris is 2 at a bit tense, quicker. Change that camera angle. Let's have a look at that blue zebra. It's chasing down Keddy in the Porsche. I do love that livery on that Porsche Keddy. It's extremely, extremely nice. So at the moment Chris is on provisional pole. Michael races in his rumba. Davey with us is second. Liam Muller's third, under half a second. Dave Newham is a smidge over half a second. Then we've got Gardby is 6th, DiPolito 7th in his Porsche. Again, those two are only 6/10 off that pole position. Ellie's popped a time in, 7.5 off. Suchetti exactly the same time, 7.55, same as Ellie. And then Keddy, who's just in front of Chris here, he's 10th in the Porsche. Cameron Martin's 12th, and you see Keddy's getting out of the way there. Doesn't want to hold him up, which is good. Tugberg's 15th. Dave Goodway, come on, let's have a look at the man. Dave Goodway, that we all love to call crazies. Let's see where he is. There he is. Let's have a look at him. So Dave's sporting the FRL livery. Beautiful livery for the FRL team in the 35 Ferrari. Now, I've had the pleasure of watching Dave for a long time, really. Probably almost a year, hence it's almost a 1-year birthday. Very consistent driver, quick, understands the car, positions the car very well, and normally him and Michael races are usually as close as what we were saying in the podcast on Wednesday between Zucchetti and DiPolito. So I'm intrigued to see how he adjusts towards the PC. Obviously it's going to be completely different than what it is on the PS5, and Ian Thompson's a prime example there, because when we were PlayStation days, he would always be in the top 4, and obviously I'm not saying Chica's struggling, but he's quicker than where he is. Yeah, he definitely is quicker than where he is. Right, Daz is in. Hello mate, how are you? Have you thought about adding the hashtags and the title so that algorithm pops you up? No, not really. I normally put hashtaggy stuff. No, I don't know, mate. I can always do with help, and I did. I put tags in at the bottom and things like that. But yeah, if it will help, then of course I would definitely look to do that going forward. But I hope you're well, Dazza. And how was your race the other night, mate? I know I missed it, but how'd you get on? Did you enjoy it? Was it good? So if you've just joined us, 1 minute 30 left of this qualifying session. Remember, this is the Pulse India GT3 Friday Championship, penultimate round of this one. We've currently got the pro drivers out at the moment. Chris Vining, as you can see, he's currently top of the pile with a 46.3. Ellie, again, these two were really close last week. Ellie's just behind, just over a 10th behind, then DiPolito. So the usual suspects are managing to find their way to the top. DiPolito in his Porsche is in 3rd. Michael Race's debut on the PC is 4th. Suchetti's 5th. Liam Muller's 6th. Dave Newham is 7th. Tadima is in 8th. Hookberg 9th. Garby is in 10th. And then we've got Keddy and Martin on 12th and 13th. Kerikez is 15th. Dave Goodway, DiPolito, yeah, just pulling over there, so he went yellow. And then we've got, who else have we got there? So Dave's in, where's Dave? Is 19th at the moment. Further down, Machira and Kudasov, they are, I believe, out at the moment on a lap. So quickest lap of the race. In terms of sectors, where are we at sector times? Yeah, no, sectors are all being held by Chris at the moment in the blue zebra. No, don't like that one. Don't like that one either. Let's get a feel for the speed over the last few seconds. So Chris, he's still out on a quick lap. Provisional pole at the moment. Ellie's not too far behind him. Kenny's got up to third place. Well done, Kenny, in your Porsche. And he's pitting now. Dipolito in the other Porsche, not teammates, but again 2 Porsches representing theirs in 4th. Michael Races finishes currently in 5th place, so great start for you. Zucchetti's in 6th. He's not going to be happy with that because his buddy Dipolito, you're in between there, Michael, so you best get out of the way. Nachira pops a time in the Audi and goes 7th. Just look at the speed that they're taking through here. It's absolutely fantastic. You really get a feel for it. You can see the compressions in the track. You can see what the curbs doing to the cars and how, you know, it's unsettling them slightly. I'm just taking over. Oh my word, Liam Muller. Wow. So Chris is going to have to finish this lap as he gets onto the centre straight. As Liam Muller pulls out a 46.212 to go 1/10 ahead provisionally on pole position. And Liam Muller pits. Is Chris going to take that back? He doesn't. He's under a 10th. Right, where's Ellie? What can Ellie do? Okay, as we're coming up now towards... Oh, this is getting very tight. So, Chris has pole snatched from him, but can Ellie, or Eli, we'll find out later on. I'm going with Ellie. Currently in 3rd place. Can she, or can Ellie... I'm going to do that all night, aren't I? Can Ellie take away pole position from Lee Muller? And what a brilliant lap that was. Honestly, no disrespect to Lee Muller, didn't see that one coming. Right, so Ellie, what are we going to do there? What are we going to do? No, wow. Look how close that is. Ellie goes 10 thousandths off pole position there. So congratulations to Lee Muller. That was absolutely fantastic pole position. Ellie's in 2nd and Vining. Those 3 are all within a 10th. Then you've got Keddy and Dipolito who are under 4 tenths, as is Michael Races actually in 6th. Zucchetti and Dave, they're only half a 10th, as is... wow, we've got a close grid. The top 15 are separated by just over 1 second, which I like. I like it a lot. So, who shall we go on board with? Let's go on board with... Let's have a look at Keddy today, shall we? No. Let's have a look at Dipolito. This is my guy. This is my alien of the week. So we're going to keep on board with Dipolito. Let's get up there. Let's have a little look at that. And whilst we're waiting, let's have a quick look at the live chat. Dazza says he really enjoyed it. That's good. Tier 1, all I wanted to achieve was not cause a crash, improve my position, not get lapped. And he achieved all 3. What more could you ask for, Dazza? Lapping Monza in the 49s. That is really good, mate. I know that the aliens are ridiculously fast, especially in Tier 1, but that's really impressive. Really good, mate. I'm glad. I'm glad you've watched for a little while and you're getting stuck in now, mate. It's all downhill from here. You won't be able to do anything else, trust me. So, Dal is busy in his office. He's pretending to work now. He's looking for... He's probably going to give people a penalty just for, you know, maybe being on the grid a little bit wrong. You know, not quite in their box, because that's what he does. But let's just run through this quickly. So, we've got Lee Muller starts on pole position alongside Ellie. Chris Vining, member championship leader, starts 3rd alongside Keddy, who hasn't raced for three weeks. But we know Keddy's really fast. Dipolito is in 5th. Michael Races, I'm not saying nothing about Michael. We all know how quick he is. You guys are about to find out. Zucchetti 7th. Dave is in 8th. So Dave is right behind Michael. So I'm sure they're having a little chuckle on their live stream at the moment. Tadima's 9th. Nachira is in 10th. Nachira's normally quicker than that. So I'm expecting him to move up the field. Tugberg 11th. Gardby's in 12th. Cameron Martin 13th. And then we've got pole position for the AMs, and that's Camara. And Zach Dahl is in the AM class, so only did 1 lap. He's 2nd. Kerikez is 16th. Dave Goodway 17th. Delatois 18th. Columbara 19th. Kudasov is 20th. Odjovets is 21st.
20 seconds.
And then we've got Pryor Guaglio. Keels 24th. Vendishov 25th. James Williams 26th. Thompson is 27th. Sergio 28th. Blanchett and Petrovic bring up the rear. So let's get on board. So obviously we're going to have a full full formation lap, as you would expect, as they just start to pull away now. So we'll stay on helicam for the start of this race. Hopefully that will give us a good vantage point to see any incidents as they potentially occur. Now, I have been informed that there is a way with the software that I'm using, which I'm sure it is because it's fantastic software. There is definitely a way that I can maybe just put it on autopilot and it will pick up all the action for me. But then that makes my job really easy, and I like to sweat as much as these guys. Yeah, so I like to have one eye pointing at my laptop and one eye pointing at the TV, which looks weird and really hurts. But I feel that I'm giving you guys value for money when we do that. P20th to P13th, said Dazza. Well done, mate. Very well done. So, we've got an hour race ahead of us. Again, if you're new, welcome. Don't be shy. Leave a comment. Drop a like in there. Ask any questions. Yeah, no one will bite. Everyone will have a chat with you. This is the penultimate round of this GT3 Friday Championship on PC. We're at Snetterton. We've just had a fantastic 20-minute qualifying session for the pros and the AMs. Remember, both those championships are still running, although I think Zach Down's probably tied up the AM class, if I'm honest with you. Liam has pulled out a stellar lap to take pole position, and then literally behind him, as I said, the top 15 are covered by less than a second. So please have a safe race, because Dow might be very busy. It is a 60-minute race. As you can see, next to their numbers we have a gold/orange 1. That means they have one mandatory stop to complete. When that is complete, that will go green, and everyone knows then you can race until the finish. And that's where we're at. So everyone's now gone through their warm-up routine, just on the back straight at the moment. You know, any pointy squirty stuff going on, chaps? No? Dazza, I feel your pain. I feel your pain, my friend. Yeah, I really do. And again, I take my hat off to you even more. I've got 2 kids myself. One's 4, one's 8. And they keep me rather busy with trying to run a business and doing comms 3 or 4 times a week. So I feel your pain, mate. Take your Sundays, enjoy it, and see how it goes. That's my advice. What a great outlet is all I'm going to say. Anyway, we're not here for counselling. I mean, wow, these guys might be actually after the first 3 corners. You don't know, do you? Again, anybody watching, if you like the time and effort, what we do here, the time that's spent, how we build the stream, you can always go on to buymeacoffee/comms by Coops. Link is always in the description. Small one-off donations, you know, don't have to, can if you want. Buying a coffee, simple. Right, as we come into the centre straight, so we're ready. We are most certainly ready for the next 60 minutes. I'll come back to the live chat a little bit later on. Probably need to concentrate a bit now. So, everyone's waiting now, waiting for that green light. There's going to be some nervous people in there, that's for sure.
Green light,
and we're off. Okay, green light. So, Lee Muller gets a good start there. Ellie tucks in. Chris Vining goes up to 3rd. Dippolito there. So, Kenny's in 4th. Dippolito tucks in. Michael tries to take the inside line there. Dave may have dropped back a place, and he's certainly got a bit out of shape there. Someone's just put a move up the inside of here. Michael races, looks to put a move down into turn 2, just showing the nose more like, and Dave's fighting the Shearer there. You can just see those two. You can see these two having a little scrap already. So, and well, it's full action straight on. Let's go. So 30 seconds in, and I'm already sweating. As you can see, so we've got the Shearer. We'll let the computer finish off doing what it wants to do. So sorry, we've got Rick Tadimas all over the back of Dave in that Beamer. You can see the train following through there. I don't see anybody jumping off to the side, which is good. Let's go on TV2 and have a look at that. So out to the top, Liam Muller is still leading the race. Going quite nicely at the moment. Built a 6th, 10th lead already. Chris Vining's 3rd, Kenny's 4th, Dippolito 5th, Michael is 6th, Zucchetti is 7th, and we were just looking at Dave there. So Tadima and Dave is currently the closest battle that I can see, or Delatour actually, is all over the back of Dave Goodway. Kudasov has just made a place up as well, so it looks like Dave's just lost the place there to Kudasov, which is unfortunate. Who's at 13? That's Zach Dahl in the Lexus, so he's turned himself around, and we've got another one off the track. So Villatoire's also just had a slight off, but it looks like he's managed to hold on to that. You can see he's got Kudasov and Dave all over the back of him. Sorry, Goodway, not just Dave. I'm going crazy because that's his real name. Then we've got Modulex who's just made a move as well. So we do have some interesting little battles developing. In terms of how this race is going to pan out, well, I did say it is a very technical track. We know that. There are opportunities around here to overtake. You've got to think in terms of... Oh, there's a move just looking to be made there. If we look at the level of driving, who's that? Someone just turned around and back, and that's Vendishoff again. Looking. So Vendishoff actually had an off last week. Someone else has just gone for that. Was Blanchett, I believe. Vendishoff had an off last week, which was really unfortunate for him, and he's had another one again today. So I'm not sure if he got tagged there. We'll keep an eye on it. So he's got to make his way all the way from the back now, so he's got to hope he can just get those tyres cleaned up, start pumping in some consistent laps, and probably look to make an early move when the pit window opens. It's only a 10-minute pit window. As we go and have a look at Liam Muller out up front, let's go on board with him. Let's see how he feels. Brundle's there. Through Nelson's into Bombhole. You see the depression in the track there. That's your signal to get back on the gas, but obviously you've got to wait for the car to be slightly settled. As then we go through Coram. Again, it's just a never-ending right-hander. We're using those cones on those poles. Sorry, I keep calling them cones on the right-hand side. Usually the second set is where you need to be on the anchors and trail it down into first gear, back onto centre straight, and then up towards Bridges, which we said before is a really open right-hander. We get on the brakes a little bit early, but carry a lot of speed through here. So down into third, carry the speed through now, start squeezing on the throttle, drift the car out wide, and then we're going to come up to Wilson, which is the right-hand hairpin, and he got all out of shape there. So Ellie's gone down the outside. Has that made him? It has. It's made Liam Muller go really deep, and he tries to cut back, can't. There's contact there, door on door with Ellie and Chris. They now carrying on where they left off last week, which was absolutely nose to tail, wasn't it? Let's be honest with you. But Liam Muller, he hasn't given up, so he's looking to come back now as we're going down that straight. That's very it's warming up, isn't it? I can feel it. It's warming up already. Fantastic. Absolutely love it. As you can see, they're on helicam. So Keddy hasn't given up on this fight either. I mean, Chris Vining and Liam Muller will be holding each other up a little bit. You know, they won't fail to notice each other, and Keddy's looking to try and take advantage of that. Ippolito in 5th place, and Michael Races is holding 6th at the moment, which is good for him. Zucchetti 7th, Dave Newham is in 8th, so he's having a good run at the moment. I think all Dave needs, Mr. Newham, I think he just needs... Oh, hold on a minute, what's going on there? That was Michael and Ippolito. Ippolito trying to have a little nibble at Michael there, isn't he? It certainly is. And Zucchetti's getting involved as well. So our favourite people, Zucchetti, so Michael's got past Ippolito there. Or maybe Ippolito made a slight mistake, but Michael's elevated himself up to 5th. He'll be happy with that. Ippolito now in 6th place. Well, at least his best mate's behind him, and that's Zucchetti. Then you've got Dave Newham, which you can see right there. Just behind Dave, you've got Kadima, and then you've got Tugberg. So there's nothing to choose with these guys at the moment. Ellie's still leading. Chris is holding the fastest lap at the moment, as we see them coming into turn 1. Just over 5 minutes, 6 minutes into the race, but again, you know, there's going to be a lot of action going on this evening, and we need to make sure we do everybody justice on that front. So in terms of quickest times, Ellie did a 47.8 last one out, which was the quickest lap. She holds the quickest time for Sector 2 and 3, and Garby currently holds quickest Sector 1 time, which is interesting. So Ellie seems to have that beam out really hooked up nicely, as you can see. That leads just out a little bit. Let's go and have a look at Keddy. So Keddy Lean Muller, they seem now to be working in tandem slightly. They seem to be putting a little bit of a gap over Michael. But I'm sure he's probably very concerned that Dipolito's all over the back of him, and he is the alien of the week in my eyes. And then Zucchetti, he's not too far behind. So all of these guys doing very, very nicely. Vine takes quickest lap of the race now, 47.660, which is only 22 thousandths quicker than Ellie's quickest lap, by the way. But those are all at it currently. So if we go a bit further down the grid, what we've got, Zucchetti's only 2 tenths now. As you can see, these boys are renewing their rivalry. And I love this view. I do love, you see the carbon fibre at the bottom there on that splitter. It's just the little scratches on it, the attention to detail is fantastic. Let's have a look at what it's like on the Bentley chasing down Dipolito. We know we can trust these two. They've raced together literally all season long, closer than this. There's 4 tenths between them. We've got some dust being kicked up there. I think that was by Keddy. Because, yeah, so it looks like, whoa. Wow. Dipolito late on the brakes there. He actually went into the back of Michael Races in the 28 Beamer in 5th place, and that's allowed Zucchetti just to apply a little bit more pressure. So again, we don't know how the tyres are going to hold up. We don't know what fuel straps these guys are running. Obviously, when they do their pit stop, they need to change tyres. We don't know what they're running fuel-wise as to whether they're splash and dashing or if they're going for a longer one. And you almost had a situation there, so Zucchetti followed Dipolito a little bit too deep. And that's you're focusing that much on someone in front of you at this pace. I said before, Snetterton is a very challenging track. The corners don't stop, and they're different types of corners. So you've always got to be thinking about how you're positioning that car. Dave Newham is only 8 tenths behind Dipolito, makes a mistake there, and you saw a little snap of oversteer, which Zucchetti picked up, and he now makes that move. Has he got it done yet? No, they're all just side by side. He does get it done, so Dipolito whoa, into Brundle, so he's gone wide there. That's going to allow Dave Newham, let's hope there's no contact to go through Nelson's. This is getting all spicy. Dipolito ends up on the grass there. We're watching from the back of Zucchetti's Bentley as he moves himself up, and now Dave Newham. Let's see, what's he going to do? What can he do here? Remember, he's got Kadima all over the back of him as well, as they nearly end up with a love tap. Some good driving from them. You can't really take your eye off anything because Tadima's in 9th. Then we've got Tugberg's in 10th, Gardby's in 11th. They're only a couple of attempts behind. What can I say? So Tadima's got a good run down there. I thought he was going to try and put that move on there into Richards. Thought better of it. Everyone's getting their nose out. Everyone's jockeying for position because position is king on this track, yeah. And we're seeing some fantastic racing again. Fantastic racing at the moment, which is a pleasure to see. So these pros all the way down. So we've got Machira is in 12th at the moment. All the pros they're doing pretty well, aren't they? And we've got some dust being kicked up there. So who's that? Camera. Let's move and have a look at another battle, shall we? So Maximilian Camara for STHM Racing in the 71 Aston is currently leading the AM class and is running 13th overall. He's got Chris Martin and Kerikes all over the back of him in the pro class in the 27 Beamer and the 84 Bentley. So Camara's doing really well to keep these two off him. Got some dust being kicked up there. That I think was probably by Nachira again, or Garby certainly. Remember Garby had a podium last week, so again, the standard of driving is extremely high. If we go a bit further down the grid, so Vemshoff is in the pits, might be done as we go through Brundles. Again, it's such a difficult complex. There's only a couple of corners there, but as you enter under the bridge, you're down changing, you're shifting the weight. You've got to make sure you're not stamping on the brakes. Obviously, otherwise the back end's going to go on you. You don't want to lock up in there, so you're modulating the brakes as you're in. And then you're going to then get hard on the brakes down into first to get the turn into Nelson's and back on the power. There's so much that goes on in such a really, really small amount of time there as we're still watching that. So Dale Hangman looks like he's been to work. So Delatoire's got himself a 15-second penalty. Sergio Oz also has a 15-second penalty, as does Keel. So Cameron Martin makes that move stick, ducked out there on the way into Wilson, positioned that car on the inside, and obviously, you know, once you're on the inside there, that's pretty much done. Camara's having a quick look out as well, see if he can put him off as we're going through Agostini. Doesn't look like that's going to happen. Then we've got the short run up towards Hamilton, and then we've got the little Oggies section, which is pretty good. So there we go. So Zach Dell's FRL Racing Team. Where's Zach Dell running? 24th at the moment. Colin Barrow. Well, they look like they're having a bit of fun, don't they? And then we've got Dave Crazies is just behind these two as they're on their way down towards Hamilton. So let's go on board with... Yeah, let's go on board with Zach Dell. Let's see what it looks like. Let's see what it's like to be in a sandwich. So in front of Zach Dell, we've got Colin Barrow in the 491 Aston. Again, we're on board with this very angry Lexus, and then Goodway is 26th behind in the 35 Ferrari. Obviously Dave is in the Pro class, currently last in the Pro class. He won't like that, but it is his first race, so there's no problem with that. He obviously has the pace to be in that class from the time trials, otherwise he wouldn't. But probably a new car, a new feel, everything's going to feel completely different. Oh, there you go, tiny. Dave nearly collected him there. You saw Zach Dell definitely had a moment which would have made him lose a little bit more momentum. Oh, well, Colin Barrow gets all out of shape as we go through Bombhole. You saw, and in that depression, I said this earlier on, that's your opportunity to get back on the power, but you've got to make sure the car's settled first. It looks like he probably squeezed the throttle a little bit too hard just before the apex, and you saw she got all out of shape. That's with the weight transfer. And see you later. So that was definitely unfortunate. So back up top, Ellie's now put the fastest lap of the race in with 46.645. Currently running 2.5 seconds clear of Vining in second place. Lehman is still holding third. Kenny right on the back of him. Now let's get on board with that and have a look, shall we? So Kenny's looking to put some pressure on Lehman up. Again, these two have been at it all race long. We're what, nearly 15 minutes in. Give or take a minute. Don't shoot me. But yeah, so these two have been at it all race long. You can see Michael is just trying to tag onto the back of these two. Certainly holding stage well, and just as I say that, Michael takes just a smidge too much grass there, and obviously you don't want to be turning too sharply if you're already on the grass, so as soon as you do that, the car's completely going to break traction, and around you will go as they go through Coram and back onto the centre straight. So these two are having a really good battle at the moment. Michael's having an impressive race. Uchetti is 6th. Guess who's behind him? DiPolito, and then Dave is only 3. Dave Newham's only 3 tenths behind them. So that battle is still raging. Certainly is. Most certainly is. Go. As they go through Riches, see just showing his nose there. Hard on the brakes now into Wilson's. Trail that in, squeeze on the throttle now. DiPolito's round deep in there again. So I don't know if he's out braking himself in there, or whether it's a case of those tyres are starting to go up. But we're only 15 minutes in the race, so I wouldn't assume it's a tyre issue unless they're not set up correctly. Down towards Hamilton, so quick left hander here, looking for the board on the right, dab of the brakes. You can hear the traction control. I love it. Absolutely love it. Here's Hamilton, so I'm surprised, and this is how professional they all are. No one's taken out that tyre wall yet into Oggies, so double right hander. You're going to scrub enough speed off at the start of that one to punch your way through. Go wide here, off the power a bit. Now we're going to push because we've got the straight running down towards Williams, down towards Brundle, which again, we'll see how Dave's McLaren takes this in terms of a directional change. Let's have a listen to those down changes. Perfect, I would suggest. Well done, that man through Nelson's, then into Bombhole. There's your depression, which caught Colin Barrow out on the previous lap that we're watching, and then the never-ending right hand out, which is Coram, which just goes on and on and on the brakes. you could just hear that force. So it's a fantastic driving from these two. Absolutely brilliant driving from these two. Ellie's still leading at the front, 1.8 seconds, and Chris has brought that down from 2.5 seconds down to 1.8. Liam Waller's still in third place. Great race from him so far, but he's almost 4 seconds off those two. Remember, he was pole position. I'm not surprised really, because Keddy's still all over him, less than half a second behind. Michael's dropped off a little bit. He's in 5th place. Michael races first one on PC. Then we've got Zucchetti, Dipolito. Well, I think they're family. Dave Newham, who we're watching at the moment, chasing down Dipolito. He's currently in 8th place. And then we've got Tadima's 9th. Hookberg is in 10th. So that's your top 10. And then we've got Nachira's making his way back through. Kerekes is 12th. He's not too far from the back of him, is he? So let's have a look at Kerekes and Nachira. Slightly different view. I know that noise. That's a big old boatly. Look how high. It's like you're in a lorry. See how high you feel. Obviously, that was because I was in that view before. Now we're in that view. It does feel a bit higher. As Nachira's Audi goes bouncing all over the place, so that's definitely going to settle in as it does there. So there's a move coming all day long from Kerekes. Definitely got the run on him, but we know that Audi, she's got good acceleration. She's going to hold that inside line. Who's going to be brave enough? They're not going to go too wide through there. He's thinking about it. I think he really did think about trying to do that and out-muscle him on the inside. That's not going to work though. Whilst these two are scrapping away as they go through bomb hold, depression, gas, go. You can see in the rearview mirror we've got that rather nicely, well, colourful, I would suggest. Yellow flag in front. Colourful Aston of Camara, who's currently leading the AM class, which is fantastic run from him so far. Darby's 14th, and Cameron Martin, let's have a look at him. Cameron Martin, what's going on there? Well, that's not right, is it, Jeff? No, we've had an incident there, so that is not correct from what that's showing me. There's Dave, so Dave's still chasing down that Porsche. As Ellie starts another lap, still got a 2-second lead with 20 minutes, well, we're not 19 minutes into this race, so nearly third distance. But everybody's absolutely smashing it, aren't they? So in the AM class, Camara's leading that, but Delatour is now catching, by the look of it, in the Aston. We had a good look at him early on. We know he's got a 15-second penalty, unfortunately. So we'll see. We'll see if he can catch up enough so that doesn't really have too much of an effect. Odjumetz is 3rd in the AM class, which is fantastic. Pryor's 4th, Guaglio is 5th, and then Zakdal finds himself in 6th place in the AM class. Well, we know what happened with Zakdal, had an off. And then we've got Keel and Columbaro. Keel, Columbaro, and then we've got Williams, Thompson. So let's go and have a look. See what's going on with these two. FRL, the boss of FRL, maybe he's just, I know what he's doing, he's just chilling at the back, isn't he? That's what he's doing, he's just scoping everyone out. So James is running 27th at the moment, Ian is running in 28th. Yeah, it just doesn't stack up for me in terms of that pace, and Blanchett and Oz are just in front of them. Goodway is now, well, this will be interesting, okay, because Goodway is now right on the back of Zakdal. It looks like he's just making a move there. Wanted to make a move on Guaglio, but Guaglio's gone wide, so Zakdal's gone through. Dave positions his car on the inside. He does take that position, so that was a good opportunistic move there by Zakdal and Goodway. Guaglio's going to be kicking himself. Again, it probably pushed a little bit too hard into Brundles, which meant the moment you get her straightened up under the bridge on the left-hand part, you've got to stamp on those brakes. You've still got a trail. It's really delicate, and evidently took a little bit too much speed in there, which is why he went wide in Nelson's and allowed Zakdal and Goodway to make those moves. So he looks like he's coming back now, though. We'll see what happens. Let's stay on board. Let's stay on board with Goodway. Again, it's his debut race with us tonight. It'll be very interesting to see the thoughts of everybody after the race that is moving. Pretty good. So 39 minutes left to go. We're under a third distance. We've got the other flag there. So Keel looks like it's had a slight off. No, it's not going to change over to that. That's fair enough. So Ellie's still out top. fine, and still second, Liam Muller third, no change there. Then we've got Teddy and Michael. As we're watching Goodway and Zach Dow have a scrap. Now, again, who's that off of there? Kudasov's had enough, so again, that's going to promote these guys up another place. And I think the thing to think about is we know that Zach Dow is absolutely rapid. We don't know if he's any good on this track. Yeah, I may never have driven this track before. I don't know. But we know Zach Dow's pace is extremely strong. Yeah, it's mid-pro pack. Yeah, I just paused there. I just wanted to have a listen to the Ferrari as we're going through that very, very technical section of the track. But so again, we know Zach Dow's pace is absolutely rapid. And obviously Dave's Goodway's feeling his way in, but now he's holding pace with Zach Dow. That bodes well for me. Crazy is a type of chap who learns as he goes, and he keeps making improvements, keeps thinking about things and how he can improve those bits. And I think that's probably what we're seeing in this race. Yeah, I was actually surprised he just jumped in here tonight, but I'm glad that he has. So what we've got there, Tugberg has got a 15-second, Delatour's got his 15-second. Oz has got himself a 20-second penalty as well, which is important. So let's go and see if Teddy has got any closer. Oh, well, it would appear that he has got slightly closer, wouldn't it? Yeah, definitely would. And if anyone's wondering why Kenny's number is 737, that's because one of his hobbies, I mean this is his job obviously, one of his hobbies is he likes to get in a 737 and throw it up in the air and then put it on autopilot and then put it down on the ground somewhere else. That's what he does. So yeah. So the chase is most certainly on. So it has been about half a second. It's now quarter of a second. So these guys are definitely starting to have a little bit of fun. Let's have a look from the back of Liam Muller. Again, I love this view as well because you can see what's also developing behind Keddy. So Michael is now within 6/10 of Keddy. So there will be a challenge coming. Well, that's not 6/10 for sure as we go through, as we come through. I think that's Wilson's there, yeah. And just behind them we've got Zucchetti. So Keddy, from being really, really close to the back of Liam on it, probably had to back out slightly at some stage, you know, just to make sure he wasn't taking enough pace through somewhere. Well, that's dropped him right into the clutches of Michael, but Zucchetti, you can clearly see, is now all over the back of Michael. So we've got a four-way fight going on here. So this is what it looks like. And just as we got the flames, what a fantastic moment to get on the back of the Porsche there. Nice big pop of flames coming out. Absolutely love it. So Michael's all over the back of him, and then we've got Zucchetti. Just the different engine tones. How can you not be impressed? As somebody said in a famous film once, are you not entertained? If anyone could tell me who said that, then you can win Coops competition today. I'm going to bring it back. Reset up any car, any track. That's the question. Who said it? Are you not entertained? Daz says, what's a good car for Kyle Army? What?
If it is now open.
I have to say the Beamer goes very well at Kyle Army, mate. But then I think the Ferrari also goes very well at Kyle Army. Two very, very different cars. Oh, pit lane's open and Bosch. Michael's like, I'm not having it. I'm in straight away. Get me in those pits, Jeff. So Michael comes into the pit. I don't know who Jeff is, by the way. It must be his team manager. We've already got someone sat in the pits there. But right, so Michael comes in. He wants to pull the trigger first. Maybe he wasn't happy with the tyres, or maybe it was just a case of he's using his racing brain here and thinking, well, this track, the pack is close, and he's in a close fight there with those three. Let's get the pit stop done and see if he can make up some time in clean air. I'm 100% positive that will be the thought process, as Ellie is continuing the never-ending onslaught around Snetterton at the moment in first place. That gap has been built to 3.249 seconds. 34 minutes to go. As I say, pit window is a 10-minute pit window. You must be across the pit entry line when that 10 minutes ends, otherwise you will end up disqualified. And you can now see we've got a bit of green on there. Number 16, Michael Races. We've seen him just come in for his stop. So now you know, you'll be able to see who has stopped and who hasn't. Tadima's also just completing his stop. And because the P's still next to him, that means he's just coming out of his pit box. So we're going to see quite a bit of shuffling going on now. So if we go back towards this epic little duel between Keddy, Zucchetti and Lean Muller. Where's Dipolito? So Dipolito's just behind these guys as well. Well, I say just behind, he's a couple of seconds behind and a bit. And Dave Newman, he's holding station really nicely at the moment in 7th place. So he'll be happy with that. Certainly be much happier than what he was last week. And guys, I'm not going to be surprised if you see Michael Races and Dave Newman progress up the field together, because now they're both on PC. They are mates in real life, yeah, as there's a lot of the people in FRL are. They will be doing, no doubt, some homework together, no doubt. So Lean Muller pits, Dave pits as well, Dave Newman pits, so 6th and 7th are in the pits. So we're on board watching Keddy at the moment. So he doesn't have to worry about Lean Muller anymore. He's now just got to try and push as hard as he can to put some space between himself and Zucchetti, which I'm sure he's going to do. Russell Crowe on Gladiator. Dazza, well done, my friend. See, and I didn't even do it in a particularly energetic way, but well done. So you win COMMS competition this week. Drop me a DM, don't do it on here, drop me a DM on Discord, what car, what track, yep, and I'll send you a free setup tomorrow. Alright? Well done. COMMS competition is back, guys, and now it's on PC. £58 to enter, and we'll see what happens. But well done, buddy. 5 currently watching at the moment. Welcome, everyone. You're joining us. We are almost halfway through this GT3 race, penultimate round at Snetterton. We've had a fantastic qualifying session for both the AMs and the pros, and the racing has been extremely close. And actually, I'm going to go and have a little look at Zach Dow, because he looks like he's looking a bit racy again. And Dave's got past him. He did say that Dave was probably feeling his way in now and getting a little bit more comfortable. So Goodway finds himself in the top 10, considering where he was at the start of the race. That's fantastic. I know we've got people going through and doing their pit stops already, but hey, that's not bad. You can see Lean Muller. So this is where we've got to start trying to read what's going to happen after the pits, as Camara gets a 5-second penalty there, so Hangman Dow's doing his job. Keddy's in the pits, Zucchetti's followed suit. So we've got Ellie, Chris, Vining and Dipolito as your top 3 at the moment. Achira and Kerikez, they're probably going to elevate themselves, considering on Achira pits, as does Kerikez. So we've got 5 minutes left just over on the pit window, so people are starting to get things in order for the second half of the race. The interesting thing that I find is, if you look at 13th and 14th place, Lean Muller and Michael Races, there's only 9 tenths between those two. Now remember, Lean Muller pitted from 3rd and Michael was 5th, and that gap, I believe, was bigger than 9 tenths. So it looks like Michael may have, maybe done a slightly quicker pit stop potentially. So Keddy's out. Keddy miles ahead. No, he's not. The computer's just figuring itself out. Where's Zucchetti gone? And Keddy. Right, I'm waiting for this to update, because Michael Races there is ahead of Keddy by what I'm looking at. He is indeed. So Lean Muller, Michael Races and Keddy. So Michael, with his early pit stop, probably getting himself out into a little bit more clean air, has actually jumped Keddy in the pit stops. Goodway's got himself a 5-second penalty as well there, which is unfortunate. So Ellie hasn't pitted, Vidin hasn't pitted, and nor has Dipolito. They are the top 3. I think they've only got a few minutes left, but I mean, Vidin last week went late, certainly went late. Ellie still holds fastest lap so far in this race, so there'll be an extra point for that if that is held on until the end. But we're watching this scrap at the moment. Michael Races now is looking very, very close towards the back of Lean Muller. Who's in front of that? Zach Dow. So we know Zach Dow, well, he's running long. This could get quite interesting. So Lean Muller makes the move. Michael's not close enough to make the move there. Zach Dow's just backed out of the way there. And again, we are in different class. And who's that in front of that? Dave Goodway in front of him. It looks like crazy. He's just having off on that Ferrari. He's definitely not going to want to take out his... Oh, that was really close going through bomb hole there. That was a bit of a bomb hole moment, if you get what I'm saying, ladies and gents. But yeah, through Corum and Michael manages, I'm sure there was hearts in mouth moments there. So Dipolito pits, Camara pits, who's currently leading the AM class 4th overall. So he decides he's going to get his pit stop done. I'll be very surprised if we don't see Zach down. He does pit as well, as does Goodway. So everybody's getting their pit stop sorted out. 3 minutes left of the pit window. Only Ellie in first place and Chris Vining in second place haven't pitted yet, to be expected actually. They're just continuing to build that lead. And then Lee Muller in front is in third. Michael's actually jumped Keddy in the pits, is in fourth. We're on board with him at the moment. We'll change that view and you can see there the gap between Lee Muller to Michael, Michael to Keddy and Keddy to Zuchetti is now, that is evidently a lot bigger than before the pit stops. So, you know, before the pit stops, they were all nose to tail, and we were discussing about how they were going to make those moves and when those moves were going to happen. Whereas now you can see they've had the pit stops, some have been in a bit of traffic, some have had a clean run, and we've got quite manageable, is how I would describe it, manageable distances between them. So Ellie and Vining decide to pit. There is 4.7 seconds between them. Okay. We'll keep an eye on that delta when they come out. 4.7 seconds. So where else are we close at the moment? We've given Mr. Newell quite a lot of time this evening. We'll have another look at him. Then we'll move down the field. So again, he's still chasing down Dipolito. He's currently in 8th place. Dave's having a fantastic race today. I think he's just keeping it clean. He's got that McLaren dialed in nicely, and Dipolito wasn't confident actually before the race. We was having a little chat on the Discord. It wasn't particularly confident of delivering anything spectacular this evening. And if that is the case, because of maybe not doing anything on the track or too much, they both just got narrowed. Hold on, I need to change that 1 second, guys. I will come back. Just need to check on the blue zebra because they both went yellow. You can see though, Chris Vining's done a quicker pit stop because he's now only 3 seconds. That was 4.7, remember, when they came into the pits. It's now just over 3, so maybe a difference in fuel in there. But again, Lee Muller now, you can see, he's been brought back in. Yeah, that says 9 seconds. That is no way 9 seconds. So again, it's all beginning to develop. As I've found every single week doing this, it's almost 2 races. It really is almost 2 races in one. The sprint to the pit stop, who's got the smartest strategy in the pits, and then the sprint to the finish every Friday. Yeah, and you know, so there's nothing boring going on here. There's a lot of excellent racing. Let's go a bit further down the field. So Nachira's in 9th. He's got a 5.5 second gap to Kerikez in the Bentley. And then Tadima, so Rick's still going in 11th, 1.5 behind them. Cameron Martin 12th. Camara, let's have a look at Camara again. So he's leading the M class at the moment in that rather colourful Aston. He's only 1.386 behind Cameron Martin, so he's driving very well. And you've got Gardby behind him there, 5 seconds down the road in that Beamer. Remember, Gardby was on the podium, I do believe, last week. So, you know, a different race. Again, certain tracks suit certain cars, also suit certain drivers and driving styles, and track time, and all these great things that go in, all these variables that need to be managed every week. And some tracks are then absolutely, you know, pony for other people. And it's just a case of damage limitation. That may be the case with Gardby, I don't know.
Pit window is now closed.
Pit window is now closed. Thank you very much, sir, for letting me know that. So, just under 25 minutes left of this race. No change at the top. We're watching Camara, who's leading the AM class. And then we've got, just behind him, Gardby and Tugberg. Then Delatour, who's second place currently in the AM class. Now this is interesting. Remember, he had a 15-second penalty, which has obviously been served, and that is out of the way. Dave Goodway still in the pits. Come on, Dave, get out of the pits. You've gone green. Hopefully he's just trundling out of the pit lane. So what's interesting here, we need to keep our eye. So what we got, 4th, 9, that's quite a big gap, isn't it? So it's about 15, 16 seconds behind Camara. He has done his pit stop and he has served that penalty. So let's see if his pace can bring him any closer to Camara, maybe for a bit of a scrap at the end of the race. Pryor's third in class at the moment in his Aston, 2.9 seconds behind Delatour. What's happened there? someone's left. No, I thought someone had left the server for a while. Tugberg. Okay, so Tugberg has done his pit stop and is now in the pit. So maybe there was an accident there, or maybe that was... I don't know what's happened there. Maybe... Is he still... No, he's not out, is he? So... Crazies is still in the pits. Right, I'm going to the live chat. Let's see if he's popped in. No, he hasn't. Crazies, why are you in the pits? Mr. Goodway, please let me know. Back out on track though, so prior 16th, third in class. Ogimet. There's Ogimet. We haven't looked at him yet. There you go. Let's have a look at Ogimet. In his Audi, 21 Audi for Kolb Sim Racing there. He's running 4th in class, 17th overall. Just behind him, you can see there's 13 Lexus of Zachdow in the M class. I'm 100% sure he's got that one tied up in terms of the championship. I think it was late to qualifying, didn't do too bad in qualifying, and then had an incident out on track, which kind of put paid to that. Kudasov is 19th in the 444 Audi in the Pro class. And then we've got Guaglio, who is 6th in class in the AMS. Colin Barrow, we saw had a massive tank slapper. You know, I mean, he's not dead, so that's fantastic. He's 21st overall at the moment. And then we've got James Williams is in the 41. He's 22nd. Blanchet's 23rd. And Vendishov, who we saw had an off, I think within the first 10 minutes of the race, unfortunately, then probably had to pit and get quite a bit of repairs done. He is currently running 24th and last. Tugberg's in the pits. Goodway's in the pits, and Oz is also in the pits. So that's where we're at. Just so that James Williams remembers there's a bonus for tonight. There you go. More airtime. Fabulous. Look at that. Right, that's our bonus done. Right, so Ellie's just gone a bit quicker with a 46.865 up front. That gap has now increased by 8 tenths. It was 4.7 after when they went in the pits. It was 3 seconds when they came out of the pits. It's now back up to 3.8. So that gap's increasing. Lemon is still in with a hunt though in third place, 3.6 behind. Michael Races is in fourth, nearly 2 seconds. Then you've got Keddy who's just over 2 seconds, and then Suchetti. So Suchetti's the quickest, probably the quickest guy out of these top 7 at the moment, but Dave's there under half a second behind Dipolito. I know Dave wants to push it. I know Dave wants to push hard. He wants to get moving. Of course he does. But I'm sure he remembers the verbal contract we made before this evening going to Richards, that it's got to be top 10. So I'm sure he's very conscious of that, concentrating. And I bet he'd love to put a move on Dipolito. He's dying to put a move on him, but he's also aware that the standard of driving on this side of the fence and in this class, you can't make that mistake. And it's not worth him making that mistake because Nachira's only 7 seconds down the road, you know, and Kerekes, he could find himself out the top 10 if something untoward happens. So I'm sure he's just being smart at the moment. So Shetty just in the front is now half a second behind it. Keddy as well. So we've got 2 pretty interesting battles going on here within the top 10, top 8. Do you know what? This is really exciting. It is exciting. I find it exciting anyway as we go through Williams. I find this really exciting because the Porsche, we know the Porsche is really quick and very slippery, very temperamental. She will kill you. And so is the McLaren. So you've got 2 cars here that are both no doubt, absolutely going to be on the edge. With 2 drivers that are going to be on the edge, yeah, that don't want to give an inch. You know, Dipolito's really sad at the moment because he's nearly 8 seconds behind his best mate Suchetti, and Dave's pretty annoyed because, well, he's a good few places behind Michael in his debut race. So they both need to be further up the road, and they will be absolutely dying to keep their places. Let's see what happens. That's going to go to the end, and I hope it goes to the end in a good way. Right, same distance apart, we've got Keddy and Suchetti. Again, you've got a Porsche involved here, but Suchetti is in the Bentley, which we know is a ridiculously stable car on this game. Which one do I think is going to come out on top with 2/3 in? So we're under 20 minutes left of this race now. Again, as the fuel loads start to burn down, obviously, in terms of where the fuel tank is on the Porsche, as the fuel load gets lighter, of course the car gets quicker, but on the same token, she also gets more difficult. She really doesn't want to comply that much as the fuel burns down. Then you've got to take into account tyre wear with the heavier fuel now becoming less, and you will find yourself then much more, I'll say responsive, but not in a good way, responsive car. So I'm not doubting Keddy, I know he's quick, but in terms of which car, I'd probably be boring and say the Bentley at this stage of the race. We'll see how it develops. Definitely catching him. So Ellie's increased her lead at the top to 4.6 now. Lee Mullis holding station, it's almost 4 seconds in third. Michael's hanging on to that Beamer, 2.2 seconds behind, but obviously extending that gap over Keddy, because Keddy's too busy battling at the moment with Zucchetti, which we are currently watching. And nothing behind, no need to worry about that. So Keddy moved over early there, looking to break the toe, doesn't want to be giving any advantage to Zucchetti down the centre straight. Walks back across to take the racing line, down into third gear, took it in. A little bit too wide there, but gets on the power early. You saw a little bit of oversteer, you saw a correction there, down into Wilson, hard on the brakes, trail her in, get her tucked in nice and early, and there's a better line through there from Keddy. Both take a little, well, they don't go too wide, which is fine. Then up to Palmer, which is a bit of a sweeping left-hander, you're not using too much brakes there, you're just scrubbing a bit of speed off. Then down towards Agostini, which is a tight left, so hard on the brakes. Down into first gear, squeeze that throttle on now, run out wide, then towards Hamilton, which is a quick left-hander, so we just need to back off and throw her in, take that curve as much as possible. Great line through there by Keddy, then into Oggy, so hard on the brakes, down into first, took her in, take that curve, squeeze the throttle on as the car pulls out wide. Good line again from Keddy there, just being kicked up by Michael. As you can see, Michael just pulling out to get through Williams to try and get the throttle on as quick as he could. Keddy gets a good line through there. We've got blue flags waving now, up towards Brundle, under the bridge we're going to go, hard on the brakes, down into second as we trail in, then come off the brakes and stamp on the brakes and down into third. Hard on the brakes there, into first, took her in, power on now. We're going to get it up into third gear, then we're going to back off, we're going to take the decompression, then we're going to get straight back on the power again, go wide, full throttle now, in towards Coram, back off slightly, not too much, down change. Then we're going to look for those poles, they've all gone, so now it's, well, now you better have your turn and braking spot absolutely nailed as we crawl through for another lap. So great racing, absolutely great racing, cannot deny that. We are being treated today for sure. So we'll have a look at Helicam for a little while, nothing's changed there, so we're watching that, that's still pretty close. Where's Dave? How close is he still? Where is Dipolito? He's just in front of him. So Dave's dropped off a little bit. That's now nearly 9:10. So maybe he's just taking a breather. We've still got 15.5 minutes left to go in this race. Anything can happen. And again, you've got a Porsche there, which is going to get more and more unstable, I would suggest, as the race goes on. But then again, the McLaren, well, she's not. She's just as bad, really. Nachira has closed that gap down. That was 7.8, I believe. It's now 6.6. Tadima's in 10th, great run from him so far, but then Kerekaz isn't too far behind. So let's have a look at these two. So this is a fight to see who is going to be in the top 10, and again, I'm sure both of these two would absolutely love to be in the top 10. So let's get on board. So what have we got here? We've got a Beamer and a Bentley, so two very, very stable cars who can throw the weight around of their car in the best way. Question. Cameron Martin in his BMW's in 12th, he's nearly 6 seconds down the road, so that doesn't look like, again, you never know, but at this stage doesn't look like a massive challenge going to come from there. So this is a fight to the death to see who can finish in the top 10 and have that on their record going into next week. Camara's still leading the AM class, he's 13th overall. Brilliant run from him at the moment. Then you've got Garby in 14th. So Delatour is now 19-20. Said it was around 15 seconds before. That's now probably 24, 25 to Camara. So that doesn't look like it's going to change. Odumets is 3rd in class. Pryor's 4th in class, only 1.8 behind Odumets. So that could change. Then we've got Zach Down, who's 5th in class. Guaglio 6th. Columbaro 7th. Williams 8th. Blanchett is 9th in class at the moment. And then Vendishoff is back out. So he's running last and is last in class, unfortunately, at the moment. So Tugberg and Goodway and Oz are still all in the pits, which is unfortunate. So positional gains, let's just have a look at that. Who's made the most positions on? So Heracles started 16th and finds himself in 11th. So that's pretty good. That's 5 places made up from the start of this race. Odumets and Pryor both made up 5 places as well. So that's interesting. Blanchett started 29th and is currently 23rd, so he's made up 6 places. So that is all good news. In terms of the runners at the top, so Liam Muller dropped 2 places from pole, is now running in 3rd. Michael's increased, gained 2 places. He was 6th and is now in 4th. Whereas Liam? Dave's qualified 8th and is 8th, so he's the only person who is that consistent. Well done, Dave. Well done, Mr. Newham. Right, as these two continue their battle, further up the field, what we've got, Suchetti's half a second behind Keddy, and Newham is still 8/10 behind Ippolito. So the pace on these individuals is all very similar at the moment. Let's go forward to D-Man, look back, shall we? That menacing, look at that, beautiful blue on Kerekes. Remember, he's made up some really good places so far today, so maybe this could be the 7th place that he makes up to get himself into the top 10. That would certainly be a potential driver of the day scenario, really. Down the centre straight, that gap looks like it's increased, it's now 2nd. So Rick Tadima in the BMW Junior Racing Team, #3, holding his own very nicely here at Snetterton. We've discussed the track quite a lot in terms of the challenges and how those challenges affect the cars. We've seen some fantastic racing again this evening, as we have done all season. Gamer Dad's in. Yo, Coops. Hello, Gamer Dads. How you doing, Paul? Hope you're well, mate. We've seen some pretty good racing going on this evening. We've got a lot of FRL boys in, supporting everybody. Obviously, I'm not supporting anyone in particular, just whoever wins. No. One thing you all will find quite interesting, which I'm sure you've just noticed, is Ellie's now only 1.5 seconds ahead of Chris. So I'm going to come away from this one for now, and I'm going to get on board. We can watch the blue zebra. So that gap, Ellie must have made a mistake somewhere. I'm not saying Chris isn't fast, because we know Chris definitely is fast, but we're not making up that kind of time that quickly. And you can see just behind there in the background, Lee Mull is still there as well, so that gap hasn't changed. Michael Races is still running there, that gap hasn't probably changed either. And then you've got Keddy and Zucchetti, so those two are still half a second. So Keddy and Zucchetti seems to be the main battle. Let's get back on board with that. So again, we know the pace on these guys is very, very impressive. Let's see some inputs. Let's see what the hands are doing. Let's figure out what the car's doing. In terms of everywhere else in the field, this is the closest battle so far, so we are going to stick on this one. We'll keep our eyes. So Dave's now dropped off nearly 2 seconds from Ippolito. That may be a tyre off the track type scenario, so we won't curse that too much. Chris Vining is now 1.8 behind Ellie at the top. That gap has increased by about 3/10. Again, these guys have been at it all good watching this. Mate, Paul, you need, I'm telling you, dude, I've been telling everybody for so long, the difference, and I know you know it, and I know everyone else knows it, the difference is huge. But Gamer, look what we've got going on now. Yeah? Michael's in there, Keddy's in there, Traction's in there, you've got Chica's in there, James, your Volton, who else have just joined there? Obviously Crazies is in there. I can be if I want to, but I like talking instead. You know, it's happening. The shift is happening, mate. So, you know, just, I don't know. tell your missus something happens, buy one. Buy one, mate. You will not regret it. You will not regret it, mate. And obviously, in terms of the coverage and the camera angles and stuff, you know, we've got, look at the gamer, look, carbon fibre at the bottom and how it moves in the wind. Anyway, so this is still your closest battle. It looks like she's, or he, has evidently got over that initial mishap that we just had, because that gap is now back up to 2.4. You saw there, who was that in front? That was Michael Races. Again, kicking up the dirt there. So as we were going down into Wilson's, that's happened a couple of times as they push out there towards Palmer. So that's allowed Keddy and Zucchetti definitely to make up a little bit of ground on them. As we have a look at that, just to see, and you see Keddy takes a little bit of dirt there as well. So everything is moving quite nicely. Ellie's definitely picked up the pace, just done a 1:46.290, so that is a very, very quick lap time, and obviously no surprise, sectors 1, 2 and 3 currently belong to that particular driver. As you can see, Zucchetti looks like he's closing up again on Keddy there. Michael's just in front. You know, we're talking about this track, and obviously different cars behave in different ways through corners and going in, mid-speed, mid-corner, exit on the corner. And because this track's got a bit of everything, you are definitely looking at a Porsche and a Bentley. You can't have two more different behaving cars. Yeah, it's just not possible. And you can see there's different areas where they're closing up, and then that gap's elongating again, and then it's compressing, and that's just the beauty of GT3 racing with all the BOP and how the cars are set up. So. But obviously it wouldn't happen if we didn't have rather special drivers. Obviously, that's really important. They are closing Michael down, you can see that. So we've got 7 minutes, we've got 7 minutes left of this race. And what we're doing lap times 140s, so we're talking 4 or 5 laps left. I don't know if Michael's maybe got a bit of a tyre issue there, because he is being caught as they go through Rich's. Heading again, always takes a nice line through there. Obviously a little bit too much on the way out, which is what Michael likes to do. Is they get hard on the brakes and trail in, squeeze on the throttle now. So what's going on? What's going through Michael's mind? That's the question. I know Gamer Dad will love me saying this for Red Kings Motorsport. Need to rob a bank first. That's alright. I mean, we probably shouldn't tell everybody live on the internet, but yeah, I mean, maybe go and make a deposit, withdrawal, I should say, but don't tell us how you're going to do it. That's my advice then, mate. Right, so Keddy, let's see what it looks like. So we've got the lights on now on that Bentley as well, so he's just doing everything he can just to try and take Keddy's eye away from that racing line. Just try and get in his head a little bit more. Again, you know, the pace it's unrelenting. It is unrelenting pace, as always. So we've got half a second gap between these two. It is still the closest one on the race, so we're not going to come off it for now. And he's still leading. That gap's come down slightly to 2.2. Chris Vian's in second. Liam Muller, again, remember, qualified on pole. Absolutely, well, stunned me with that pole lap. 10 thousandths ahead of Ellie to take pole position there. Obviously dropped a couple of places to those two. And Michael, qualified 6th, is running 4th. The first one in the pits, and that was quite smart. And for a debut on PC, as expected. As expected, I think. Keddy's in 5th. He's going to be annoyed. Just because it's Keddy, yo, faster. But he's having a great race. And Zucchetti, whoa. See you later, Zucchetti. You just saw, but you know what I loved about that? No, come back. Look, there you go. There she goes. Oh no, let's go on board with Zucchetti. Where's Zucchetti? Let's do that again. Oh no, we missed it now. Sorry guys, I wanted to do a double replay there, because you just saw it from that angle we was on. You just saw those tyres go completely in the opposite lock, and you're like, oh, I think something's about to happen. So Keddy will be mightily relieved about that, because he now doesn't have anybody all over him, and that means, as you can see there, he can now focus solely on Michael in front of him in the 28 Beamer and just try and chase him down. He does look closer. Remember, we've now only got just over 4 minutes left of this race, so not long to go. They're putting a lot of effort so far, including practice in their qualifying sessions, these guys are working hard. Chris Vining there in the blue Zebra, we'll come back to that one. He looks like, again, he's just pushing the boat out a little bit. He's got that gap down to 2.1 seconds. And remember last week, he did manage to make that pressure count on Ellie and get that move done. But, I mean, second place is better than 7th, which is, well, I think he got 7th last week, maybe a bit lower than that after that incident with 2 minutes to go. So he needs to think about the championship here. I'm not going to say the name of his car. Lee Muller, great drive, and Michael and Keddy, well, where are they? So what's the gap between these two now? That has increased to 9/10, so Michael's bought himself a little bit of breathing space. But for how long? That's the question. So let's have a listen to that Porsche. As we go into Wilson again, the tight right-hand hairpin. Got to get trailed on there. Then we're going to squeeze on the throttle. We're going to go wide up towards Palmer, which is a swooping left-hander. So slight back off. Now we need to push. Again, we don't know what the fuel's doing. We don't know what the tyres are doing. So I don't have those bits on. I don't want us to see those bits. Into Agostini, which is that tight left. Michael goes a little bit deep in there, but he's probably doing that to try and get the traction down in more of a straight line. So he's maybe thinking about his tyres in towards Hamilton. So this is that quick left-hander. Sounds up for Oggies on the brakes down into first. You've got to take that curb there and then squeeze the throttle on, not too hard because you're going to get a big step of oversteer. Keep to the left-hand side, then off the power through Williams. We've got beyond the power nice and early here for the back straight and the run all the way down towards Brundle, which we know Brundle into Nelson is a very, very difficult technical part of this track. Just over 2 minutes to go as these two are scrapping it out for 4th and 5th place. Down into first. Squeeze on the power. Go, go, go. Up towards bomb hole. Again, wait for that depression. Now on the power again. Into Coram. That never-ending right-hander. Michael's gone a little bit deep there. Indeed he has. Is he going to get on the brakes later? Now, I always find if you run too deep through Coram, you do end up getting on the brakes later because you're obviously taking a wider line through before you get straightened up again. So that can have an effect, and they are now 7/10 between them. So Keddy has closed that in. We're across the line, so we've got... Right, where's Ellie? Right, so we are... Okay. Down towards Agostini. Okay, we'll get this lap done. So I'd say this lap and one more. So I'd say maybe 2 more laps to go. Chris Vining's got that gap down now to 1.6. So this could still develop. I do believe we'll get 1 more lap in after this one. So anything can happen still. We do have a back marker in the way who will be getting blue flags. So come on, dude. I'm not saying jump out the way. Game with Dad, if you're still watching, I know he'll be a big advocate of what I'm going to say. Don't jump out the way. Keep your racing line. But just there are 2 massive straights on this track. That's where you need to do the right thing. And you're going to end up holding Chris up now as we go through Brundle. Not the place that he needs to be held up. He needs to be putting the pressure on. There we go. So the Audi does move out the way. Very sportsmanlike. Thank you very much. And that allows Chris to push through. The gap, according to that, is still 1.6 seconds. So these two, as we go through Coram, actually, they might not. They might not. Ellie, if you're smart, you might get this race finished. 4 seconds. 3, 2. Are you going to cross the line? No. So we have one more.
The leader has finished the race.
Oh no, we haven't. Okay, it was just in time. So race is finished. I don't think the race... fair enough. Wow, Ellie, well done. Congratulations. 2 wins in a row. Chris Vining, well done to you, mate. You've picked up 2nd place. Excellent work from you. Lee Muller gets on the podium from qualifying in pole position is 3rd. Michael Races finishes 4th in his first race. And well done to you, Michael Races. Keddy finishes 5th place. Excellent from you. Dipolito 7th. Dave Newman finishes in 8th. Can't complain about that, Dave. Great run from you to this evening. Zucchetti, after that incident we saw, turn right to turn left scenario, ended up in 8th place. Nachira 9th as Keddy starts giving us some beautiful donuts in his Ferrari. Well done, Keddy. Tadima is currently in 10th place, so let's have a look and see if we're going to cross the line. Yeah, Tadima crosses the line in 10th. gives us a little wiggle there. Thank you very much. Cameron Martin finishes in 12th place. Kerikez just behind in 13th there. Camara finishes 13th. Congratulations, winner in the AM class. Garby's 14th. Delatour is currently 15th. Are we crossing the line yet? No, we're still to finish. But Delatour is second as he gets a wiggle onto the centre straight there. So well done to you, Delatour, second in class. And then Odjumets, fantastic run for you. Third in class on the podium for the AM class. Zakdal 14th, fourth in class. Pryor is fifth in class. Then we've got Kudasov, Guaglio, Columbaro, Blanchett, Williams. And everyone does this to me all the time. We've got Williams, where's the rest of them? Vendershoff, and then Tugberg, Dave Goodway, and Sergio did not finish the race, unfortunately. But, yeah, there you go. Can't do much about that. So there you go, ladies and gents. We'll get some nice messages coming up there now. Congratulations again to Ellie, Chris, and Lee Muller, podium for the Pro class, and Camara, Delatour, and Odjumets, podium for the AM class. Fantastic racing. There is one race left to go, and that is next Friday, so make sure you watch that race. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of action going on. Thank you to everybody that has watched this evening. It is always a pleasure to bring you all the action. If you have liked, great. If you haven't, please press like. It only takes half a second, and I'd really appreciate it. So there we go, guys and girls. We will see you all next Friday at 7:45. Join me in free practice for the final round of the Pure Sim Gear GT3 Friday Championship, and we'll go from there. Comms by Coops out.